Hello and welcome back to this special episode of the Politics of It All podcast. Today I'm joined with the president of KCL Lib Dems and well-known showman, you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you are well known for being the best showman in the debates. I'm sure that can be agreed upon. Consistently leaving spectators with a smile on their faces and much of the audience with you in the process. Can you let me in any jokes that you have planning for what will be your final debate this year?
So, from the start, when I started debating, I was debating in the debates with Toby. And Toby and I have this great dynamic where we back each other up and we make like funny one-liners and we like help each other through it all. Jokes, I think they need to be on the spot. I don't think they need to be tied up there. I think obviously there's some serious things to be said. Labour two-face because they're very right-wing in the campaign and then all of a sudden very left-wing back. So I think we can take them on that. And Tories, they are in shambles at the moment. They're doing quite well for like being that much in shambles, but like
Plenty of ammunition.
Plenty of ammunition. It's got to be. It's always easy.
What do you say to those people who come up with a debate and they go, "Well, it's easy for the Lib Dems. They're sat in the middle. They're never really going to be in government. They can just sit there and sort of joke about things." Would you say you're more serious than how you come across sometimes?
We, of course, always discuss things we actually believe can put into play. Of course, we do have less of a burden of governance, so we can say more things that are true to our beliefs and with less relevance to like international political relations. So of course we have, at Davey was able to say that he hated that Trump got elected. And I think while it is in that sense easier, it is also better because we are more true to ourselves and we do genuinely believe what we're advocating for is the utopia we believe in, the best way forward we believe in. And if you look at our plans, like we are a very humanistic society, but I think that's more because of our followers and who we are, because we just have people who want to help the world, but don't take the world so seriously. Like we are students in the end. Like we're not gonna be the next prime minister probably.
Yeah.
So like you have to enjoy while it lasts. And like you have to also enjoy it. And like serious politics has its place. Like when the Palestine-Israel debate came up, we turned very serious. And my voice was slightly breaking up when I was talking about that. Because that's a serious issue. But a lot of other things.
What isn't a serious issue?
A lot of things aren't a serious issue. Like of course a lot of things inflict on people. For instance, housing. Like housing is
quite a few people say it's very serious, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very serious, and it is a tragedy. I wouldn't say unserious issues. There are issues where you can use humor to make it better, and the issues where you cannot.
Maybe an issue of sensitivity.
Sensitivity. I would say, like when housing comes up, they're like, so if a Tory says, "Oh, there is no housing crisis." And then you can always like joke like, yeah, for you there of course isn't. Like something like that. And I think like we generally Lib Dems are more fond of life. We enjoy it. It's too short to be pessimistic.
Okay.
The world is fucked. We can make the best of it.
Okay. So we've learned a bit more about your beliefs there. I think what a lot of people find interesting about you is that how is this young Dutchman who is a supporter of, in the Netherlands anyway, the centre-right pro-EU VVD party, Mark Rutte's party, has now become a vocal supporter of this kind of obscure third party in the UK, the Liberal Democrats. When did you first find out about the Liberal Democrats, and what made you want to take an active role as a student leader, especially as an international?
So we have to go back to the Netherlands. I'm part of the youth party of the VVD indeed. Mm-hmm. I'm not yet part of the main party because I'm leaning towards them, definitely, but I also keep my options open. Why I joined the youth party, I was 14 when I joined them, the youngest age. I was for a long time the youngest active member. I joined them because I'm a liberal. I believe in freedom. I think that also goes partly back to like divorced parents. Like you have to get self-sufficient at a young age. You have to like go through this minefield of like parents. That's how I became a liberal. I cared about nature. I cared about other things. I was in the Netherlands for a short fever dream, I was known as a climate activist. And like I became a liberal because I care about the world, but also think that government should everyone free but no one fall. And in the Netherlands is also they are more liberal in their country than the UK is.
Yeah.
Because like euthanasia has that it's been legalized a long time ago. Weed has been legalized, the first country to legalize gay marriage, freedom of religion, freedom of school choice. It's a very liberal country. So even dignified right-wing parties in the Netherlands could be classified as liberals.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I came to the UK, I saw a liberal party. And that is what I came for. I would say that I'm nowhere near as right as the Tories, but I am on a little bit to the right of the Lib Dems, but I am a liberal, and that
is that
always
more
goes for
on economics, taxation, kind of very much believing in free from government control? That kind of thing.
So, for instance, I don't have as much as a hatred towards billionaires as a lot of other Lib Dems have. Mm-hmm. I am a big against like inheritance and like money which isn't worked for. Yeah, that's the difference from I think the main party sometimes, because like we don't want to shoot down people who became rich and like they have the right to like be rich and to spend it. But we do people who did it on like not by working for them, not by adding value, by like kind of like cheating the economic system as it is.
So saying these ideas and being part of student politics, is that something that you've really enjoyed? And for a society that's kind of been mocked in the past for low membership, you've had a very busy start to the year, you've grown a decent amount. How has the start been for you as president?
I was president last year. Lib Dem president is hard. You're the third party society, and it's really frustrating to see like so many people agree with you in debates and other stuff, but then they don't see you as a way into like government or like to get a political career off the ground. So the society on its own is relatively small. What you need is a good team. So I'm very happy with the people behind me, like Toby, our secretary, but also Maddie, our treasurer, who has been in the committee now is 6th year in the committee, which is an amazing accomplishment. Those people like helped me really in last year to lay the foundation, and this year we can grow. This year we know what works, what doesn't work. We can focus on other stuff. We have a 9-person standing committee, which is absolutely ludicrous if you compare it to last year. The committee meetings were 3 people sitting in the vault discussing, and then it going to like kind of mingling this personal friendship with like a committee. Here now we actually have to like have structured committee meetings, which is a new thing.
Do you think through making friends at uni, you dragged people into the Liberal Democrats?
I don't think so. That, funnily enough, like last year, that was my thinking. I do a lot of other societies as well. So I think like my thinking was like, oh, I'm going to get all of my friends who I know like by heart are Lib Dems. Like I'm going to drag them into society. I have maybe 1 or 2 friends in this, like who came into the society because of me. I think it's much more creating a sustainable society, and we are currently at 50 members, and we can organize trips to Oxford with 10 members, which is nobody would have thought of a few years ago. And we're like thinking about like, oh, we should have a anniversary party, we should have a Christmas ball, we should have a trip later in the year, and all of these things that were never possible for us are now within grasping. Of course, it helps by the enormous election result, but I think that we're definitely growing, and we're definitely, as a society, getting better at what we do because of just a few people who are really have the heart for it.
Nice. That's good to hear. And I suppose onto that election result, which might have mobilised some more support for the society. It seems after being frustrated with first past the post for so long, the Lib Dems actually effectively used it really well. Your voter efficiency went from 20 seats for every 3 million votes to 20 seats for every million votes. And how was it to see a campaign like that, very different? And what was your reaction on election night when you won those 72 seats record?
So first past the post, we haven't used it, like we have used it well. But we are actually the only party that has the same percentage of votes as the same percentage of seats. So it's not like the system is helping us. We are able to effectively help ourselves in a system that we believe is broken and needs honest change. Election result was, of course, amazing, but it also showed a lot of like problems within, like, I think the Lib Dem party as a whole, because there's this like theory of the Gills theory. If there's one of those in the constituency,
that is a Lib Dem target.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
So like in like
Southern, affluent, but liberal.
Yeah, like
pro EU.
So I think like 70 or 90% of our parliamentary seats are in the better of 300, in the better of 50% constituents.
Yeah.
So we have targeted to like people who can afford to be Lib Dem.
Interesting.
Whereas I think we should
That's fascinating, because we've had Labour and the Greens on so far, and both of them said that they were representing what they deem as working people and working class people. Are you saying that Lib Dems, the target voter, is Gale's man or woman?
Yeah. So it's also very like high educated. So like Lib Dems on average are the highest educated voters out of any voters. Like people who vote, like who read entire manifestos and vote then. People who have that luxury. Not people who identify with a party because their community identifies with the party, but people who identify with a party because they have the luxury to look deep into the party and actually come to the conclusion this is a good party. But if you are like working class, if you are having to work for your money, like having to put in like 10-hour shifts a day, come home and you just want to relax and sit for the TV because you are worried about money and other stuff, you don't actually have the luxury of reading a manifesto.
Does that not put maybe a ceiling on how well the Lib Dems can do now from this result? If you kind of openly seeing that a lot of the voters can't put the time in to kind of see the Lib Dem manifesto, the messaging is not getting to them. Will there be a time where we start to see a more generalised Lib Dem campaign, or do you think this is now the future of the party, just targeting? It was called the blue wall. Is that the future for the next election, or do you think?
No, I don't think that's the future. I think that's the current situation, and I think that we should start creating a Lib Dem identity. I think we should start thinking, what does it mean to be a Lib Dem? What does it mean to be conservative? It means that you love your country. What does it mean to be?
Everyone in the other parties would also probably.
Yeah. But conservative is very like we love as it is now.
Yeah.
Like conservatives love the party as the country was. Labour loves the party as what the country could be. Like, what is a Lib Dem? A highly educated person who has the privilege to be a Lib Dem. And I think you could definitely be creating a identity that speaks to working class voters, a party that thinks we're doing great, a party that loves life, but also thinks that we should give everyone equal opportunity, who thinks that we should hold on to our traditions, but also when traditions stand in the way of becoming more inclusive, equal opportunity or other stuff, we should be able to let go of them and create new traditions. We should be the middle way. Like, we should not only love a country for what it could be, but also love a country for what it is. And we should combine those both. And that's a lot what of the Lib Dems is. They are a middle way between two increasingly extremizing parties.
Interesting. Because I mean, the last election, most of the campaigning was done. It had some pretty decent policy standpoints, and they did try to explain those. But actually, a lot of the messaging getting to people was through Ed Davies stunts. What was your thoughts on seeing your leader throw himself doing sort of bungee jumping, throwing himself into the water? Do you have a favourite stunt that he did? And do you agree with that messaging campaign? It was, some people called it unserious. Other people said it was very effective.
My favourite stunt, first off, was definitely the bungee jumping.
Yeah.
Just the smile on his face. I just grew up when I saw that. I think it was effective messaging in the end. Like, political speaking, it was effective. We got our airtime, people saw us, and people were like, oh, like, what does he actually stand for and everything? And I think that it was effective in the sense that he was the face, the love, smiley, and everyone know him. And then they left the serious stuff and like the complicated stuff to the second of the party.
Daisy Cooper, is it?
Yeah, David Cooper, I think, yeah. She's very capable and she knows her stuff, and she's a very good leader. And I do think in a lot of like how we as a society within this union function is the same way, because I am...
You're the Ed Davey doing the stunts.
Yeah, like I am. Like I will go on like shows, I will put myself out there, I will like...
Worst Day of the Week show.
Yeah, Worst Day of the Week show. This amazing show everyone should definitely watch. There's a date coming out. I'm really scared for the date.
Did it go well? Did you?
It was really well.
Do you think you'll see the girl again?
Well, I promised her a second date, so I think I might. No, I think it was an amazing conversation. I would love to continue that conversation. Right. But I think like that's the stance that
politician's answer.
Yeah, no, I would actually. I would. Thank you for putting my dating life out here. No, but I think that's me. That's me, the stance, like personality. Like Toby has this great quote, like, "You piss a pretty face, we do the work." And of course, I do the work as well, and I put myself forward. But I'm not the best one. Like, I said both to my treasurer and my secretary, Toby and Maddie, have both said at the beginning of this year, "Hey guys, if you want to be president, like, I fully support you in it. I will take a backseat for and I will." Like, they were like, "No, what we have now is working." And they are smarter than me. Toby is on the 2nd degree, Maddie is in his PhD, but also like people like Sam, who's now the VP, is incredibly. Livia, who's our inclusivity officer, she is amazing at debating, and she has already been also putting herself out there and is a very serious.
I debated her.
Yes, you debated her.
Scary moment.
Yeah. And she will be also like leading our first big event of the year with an MP, and where I will take a back seat. So I think you can combine seriousness with fun, and I think that's what the Lib Dems have to do in order to actually differentiate themselves from other societies.
Another big part of that differentiation has been the commitment to rejoin the EU customs union. Do you think this is an achievable goal in UK politics? And if not, what do you think needs to change for more people to be behind that?
So about 2 weeks ago, we had an Oxford trip. We went up to Oxford to debate the Oxford Liberal Democrats, the London Liberal Democrats, and we debated them on one of the issues was should the UK rejoin the EU single market? And I was like to the Oxford president, "Do you think there will be much of a debate there?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm against it. Like I'm all in favor of leaving the EU." So we can't even get our own party on that.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I think what the UK wants now, first of all, is rest. That's what it wants. Like people saw it was a mistake. But people want rest now. Like it's done. Let's focus on moving forward, and let's see how we can do something. We can get a deal with like Switzerland or Norway have, and like maybe down the road we will think of rejoining part of it, or like it isn't a in or out deal, and you have countries that are part of like the Eurozone, but you have countries that are not. Seeing the EU as a single entity is really bad, because every country defines its own position towards the EU. And I think that the UK should have done that better. But I think for now that we should just focus on how can we work together, and then maybe in 30 years we will rejoin them again. First of all, let's get investments back on. Let's get these working projects together back on. The UK is decreasing in power because countries like China, Russia, the BRICS are coming up. And in 20 years, 30 years, it's going to be the US, China, India, and Russia on the table. And then the question is, maybe not Russia, but definitely China, India, USA. The question is then, is the EU going to be there? I think yes, the European Union is going to be on the table. The question is, will the UK be with the EU? I hope so. Will the UK be able to get its own seat on that table? I don't think so.
And this might be, it sort of goes into, because Europe is definitely a dividing line between the Lib Dems and Labour right now.
Yeah.
Davey said he wants to do this sort of constructive opposition to Starmer, but people can't really tell too much difference between the political instincts of the two parties. And quite quickly, because of no running out of time, could you maybe tell us a little bit about where you think the dividing lines are and where the Lib Dems are really going to oppose Labour?
I think it comes down to fundamentals. Labour argues from a different point of view. Lib Dems argues from a different point of view. We are economically more right-wing. They are economically more left-wing. They put on a second phase for the campaign and moved even further right than we were at one point. And now with the first budget coming in, you very clearly saw that they moved way left back from us.
Towards higher taxes, higher spending, which you wouldn't.
Which we wouldn't necessarily do. We would have higher investment into the country, but we wouldn't necessarily have higher taxes. We would.
Is that possible?
We think that if you borrow with sensible economic information, that the markets react very differently to it.
Yeah.
Like in infrastructure spending, like basic economic ideas. Like I think the dividing line here is that there's going to become an event, like maybe a new Iraq war, maybe something else, and they will argue from different political beliefs. So they will have a clear split there. Like the EU, they had a clear split there. And now they are slightly more aligned than they used to be, but that will eventually go away. They will go back to the left, and we will always be a very socially more progressive party than them. We will always be there in the middle, keeping center, keeping reason, being boring but sensible.
Boring but sensible, but with a few jokes.
Yeah. Politics is boring. Our politics, at least, is boring. The politicians should be in the news because they bungee jump, not because they have another scandal.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, just to sum up, can you give us 3 words to describe the other parties?
The Greens, irrelevant. The Tories, lost themselves. Midlife crisis, I would say.
Midlife crisis.
Labour, I would say two-face.
There we go. You thought long and hard about that.
Yeah. I have to have something reasonable here.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.